Here's another video of the occupied National Mall. That's the Washington Monument. It's not actually under arrest and chained down. It's in scaffolding, as it's been for several years, from an earthquake that cracked some things in it, and they haven't managed to repair it in years. This is your tax dollars at work. A huge amount of cranes. You can hear the construction noise. Even though we have sequestration and a shutdown, somebody's tax money is building something. Anyway, this is the National Mall. We're going to go through a little 10 or 11 minute bike ride through it and see who's using it. There are some tourists here. Some of them don't even know that the thing is shut down. Foreign tourists. And there are a lot of DC bureaucrats who have been spending all day and all night drinking in the bars. And Caterpillar is operating on your tax dollars. Shutdown's not affecting it. Maybe the building's for the NSA or the IRS, which the IRS is actually really near here. Anyway, oh, here's one right there. All the DC bureaucrats. Lots of ladies in spandex are out running in the National Mall. And I'm sure they run all the time, but they're very noticeable now because it's basically been turned into a private fiefdom for DC area people. Most of them are bureaucrats and lawyers and lobbyists who now don't have to contend with throngs of tourists because there aren't tourists here. Now it's just a private running track. So they probably like this, as long as they eventually get paid anyway. They like it being made just for them. Here's some tourists. They could be from the United States or Canada. As many tourists, maybe even a third of them on the mall right now are. They're Asian. And they probably can't even read the English only signs all over saying those are shut down. I just think it's an amazing kind of racism that everyone around the country is constantly hectored about making things diverse and accessible. And little communities are forced to print their voting forms in Spanish and Vietnamese and every other language. But down here on the mall, every single closure sign and shutdown sign is only in English. There isn't even like one in Spanish somewhere. They're only in English. I can't decide who that's racist against. That it's only English-speaking people who are being ordered to stay out, because that's what the signs actually say. They actually say stay out. You're not supposed to be here at all. Or if it's racist against non-English speaking people because they aren't being informed that what they're doing is technically illegal and they might be arrested for it. Just another example of government failure. The castle-y looking thing is part of the Smithsonian. In fact, all of these buildings are pretty much part of the Smithsonian. They're different Smithsonian museums, art, air and space, natural history, American Indian, which they actually call American Indian. I think it's called the American Indian Museum. It's not called the Native American Museum. I don't know how that fits into the current debate about the word Redskins. At least it's not the Smithsonian Redskins Museum, but it is the American Indian Museum, I believe, and not the Native American. They're on another running crat. Here's a homeless person. DC is pretty coated with homeless people. Usually they sleep in little doorways on the sides of buildings. If there's a condo that has some kind of side entrance, it's not used much. They'll put their sleeping bag there and sleep. And usually they hang out near yuppie areas because the best place to ask people for money is when they're drunk and they're coming out of a fancy restaurant and they feel guilty because they just spent $100 on dinner and wine per person, which would be easy to do in DC, or at least $50, or when they've just left their ATM. In fact, occasionally you get people who you're quite sure are not really homeless and down on the luck. cost you if you either don't respond to them or if you tell them no. They'll call you names. Jew, faggot, whatever you are, chink. I've had a strange little person whose gender actually I could not determine. I don't know if it was a she or he. A little round person. A little round black person in a heavily quilted jacket in Georgetown. And I forget what she called me. And then she fought with somebody else too. And she called me a faggot because I didn't give her money when she asked for change. And I just thought, okay, well, next time if I see you and you're actually freezing on the sidewalk, I'm going to give you change. Here's a Barricade. It's still got its sign intact. I think somebody should start coming down here and setting these signs on fire if they burn. There was actually rush hour traffic right around 8:30 and 9:30 in DC today, so somebody was going to work. I guess all the lobbyists and lawyers and trade association people still had to go to work. I stopped in a Starbucks at a hospital, so I guess the people at the hospital still have to go to work. But all the crats are out drinking all night. If they're single, they're fornicating all day, I hear. I haven't joined any of them yet. Maybe I should take advantage. Maybe I should leave a few of them tied up somewhere. Anyway, what else are the crats up to? Oh, they're out running. Running all day. Trying to work off those extra pounds. A lot of fat crats. Fat in both senses. They're fat crats and they're also fat. Anyway, trying to work off those extra pounds so they get their Obamacare premiums down. Get them down to only 3 times what they previously paid in insurance. It's funny, I've done this before, and I actually know that to bicycle in a kind of faster than a runner, but still kind of a slow clip, because you've got an iPad in one hand. It takes just over, I don't know, it takes like 11 or 12 minutes to go from the Washington Monument to the Capitol building. Which is basically what we're going to do. Maybe we'll start another one at the Capitol building and just have a little video of Capitol Hill. It's going to be a day of videoing and previewing real estate and a few other odds and ends. I have to go file paperwork today to run for office next year. Both to do it and also to figure out how, since I have recruited some libertarian candidates for DC, and one of them's even asked me how the paperwork goes, so by the end of the day I'll tell them all. If you'd like to run as a libertarian, or even as a Libertarianish Reform member of one of the other parties, please contact me. We'll help you. But especially if you want to run for a libertarian. There are 8 empty seats in DC next year. That's presuming that some of the old people who have been in office in DC for about 30 years don't drop dead. And a more likely possibility that some of them, including our mayor, aren't sent to prison. We've been sending one to prison about every 6 months. Anyway, there are 8 seats. 4 city council seats representing wards, 2 at large, city council chair, Congress, and mayor. There was going to be a new election for a new position, Attorney General, which was created, and then all the factions within the DC government and ruling class got in a fight with each other about it, and which powers would it have? Oh, I think I've attracted the attention of a police officer. Well, maybe not. Maybe slowing down to get a ticket for iPadding while bicycling. All the time I was bicycling on the sidewalk and not the street. I think the other pool is called the reflecting pool. I don't think this one, unless this is the Capitol reflecting pool and the other is the Mall reflecting pool. I'm not sure. I'm going to go this way because there's a park policeman on the other side. And frankly, I'd just rather avoid those people. They've been whiny lately. Whiny and complaining because they're not getting paid. They're not getting any of your money. To which I say, quit your job. Go apply for a job to be a local policeman somewhere in Virginia or Maryland. Get a job in private security if you're good at what you do.